Good morning and welcome. My name is Nicole Schmidt and I am currently an employee with Turner Construction. I graduated from Iowa State University with my bachelor's in construction engineering in 2009 and afterwards moved down to Kansas City to work for Turner in our special projects division as a project engineer. About a month ago I moved out to Denver here and I am a purchasing agent on the new Denver Veterans Affairs Medical Center. That is a big $600+ million project with about 9 buildings and 2 parking garages. Today I'm going to talk to you about Turner, Kansas City's first LEED Platinum certified project called Posty cards. An overview of what we're going to discuss today are the general project information, who the client was, what the goals were, scorecard overview, how did we achieve platinum certification level, the challenges the team faced along the way, things to consider for future LEED projects, and also just a wrap-up conclusion. Please ask any questions you have during the project or presentation. No need to wait till the end. First off, Posty Cards is located in Kansas City, Missouri. It's a manufacturing building with some office space as well. In 2009, the owner knew that they were going to need to build on because they were expanding their business. And we started construction in March of 2010 and lasted until about March of 2011 for complete full construction and closeout. Originally the space was 22,000 square feet and we doubled it, making it 45,000 square feet now today. The total construction project cost at the end of the project was $5.3 million, and that equates to about $118 per square foot when you consider the addition and renovation together. Now remember, for the renovation we didn't have to do envelope or earthwork and the things that we had to do for the addition, so there's some cost difference there that you have to consider.
I have a question about that.
Yes.
Did the LEED boundary include the renovation of the existing space, or was it drawn so that it only included the addition?
It included the renovation as well.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Good question. The owner had sustainability in the forefront of his mind since the beginning. So he knew right away he wanted to achieve high status, and about getting close to construction process time, he was really wanting to gear for platinum, so the team really had to work hard. And finally, on April 12, 2012, we received notice that it was indeed certified platinum, one of the first LEED platinum projects in of a manufacturing facility in the United States. Only 7 exist today, or as of April 12th. And it's the first LEED platinum project in Kansas City area and Missouri as a whole. So that's pretty astounding for us. Here is the overall scorecard. As you can see, sustainable sites, water efficiency, and energy and atmosphere were the bulk majority of the points for this project. We actually submitted 82 points and achieved 81 points. They didn't like our innovation and design credit for beyond construction, how the owner was going to utilize sustainability beyond the actual construction process. So sustainable sites being the first category. Being in an urban area, we were able to utilize the development density and connection, or community connectivity points, and then also the public transportation points really helped us out in this area. The other ones are ones you typically see, restore habitat. We were very concerned about making sure we didn't disturb land and maximizing the open space for the project. As you can see here, we have some silt fencing that is protecting stormwater runoff into the neighboring sites that are next to Posty cards. I also want to share with you a prerequisite attachment that we submitted to the GBCI. As you can see here in the blue is the actual building. The existing building was over here and the new addition was over here. This is a community area that's open to the elements. The green is all the vegetated space. This beige here is porous pavement and porous area, or pervious, not porous. And then the black is basically your asphalt. And so this is an example of what you may submit to actual GBCI to show that you've met a prerequisite.
And did Turner put those documents together for the compliance on this one, or was that done by the designer?
This was done by the designer.
Okay.
Most of the documents that had to do with site and actual submitting of drawings, the designer did.
Right.
Now, if it was showing our site logistics or material laydown, we did that kind of thing, but
Right.
this was primarily the designer.
Cool, thanks.
Mhm. Moving on to water efficiency, we are proud to say we achieved all of the credits here, and it was pretty easily with the owner because he knew he wanted to harvest rainwater and reuse water. He knew he wanted to use native grasses, plants, and trees, and then we also wanted to do low flow fixtures. By doing all of that, we used no potable water for landscaping or irrigation. As you see, we have this cistern here. It's 9 feet in diameter, 18 feet tall, and stores 8,300 gallons of water. Now, I didn't tell you earlier is the company only has 40 to 50 people or full-time equivalents. And so when you do all the calculations with the low flow fixtures and the water and reuse water, we're basically not using any city water on this project, which is great. But of course that also depends on rainwater and reusing some of the water that is actually used from washing your hands and stuff like that.
So do they have a backup system though if they don't get the rainwater they need?
They do have a backup system, so we still did the pipe from the city just in case, but by design it's not supposed to use city water.
And I have a question about that too.
Sure.
For fire sprinkler, obviously, is fed by the
Fed by the
okay.
water department.
Right.
That is like a requirement
for code.
the
Yeah.
code.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
Cool.
Moving on to energy and atmosphere, this was the biggest area where we achieved the most credits. By installing high-efficiency variable refrigerant volume HVAC systems, we were able to achieve 36% energy increase better than ASHRAE standard 90.1, which was great. And then, pardon my language, but we used big-ass fans in the actual manufacturing area to help circulate the air and keep the space conditioned well. Then, when you consider that we doubled the project size, we really only increased the energy by 5%, which is huge when you consider a building structure and just doubling the space that something's going to use. As you see here in the picture, we had the photovoltaic system, and this was used to not only produce AC electricity in the building, but also to heat the water by solar water heating, and that helped out as well. The owner was able to get some incentives for this system to use them, as it's one of the first projects in Kansas City to actually have like PV solar panels, and we anticipated it being about a 5-year payback period for the owner from the upfront cost to where he would see the savings in energy. Yes?
Do you know if energy modeling was used to achieve the optimized energy performance?
It was, yes.
Okay.
There's a big file. Unfortunately, like I couldn't put it in this presentation, but they, the engineer did do energy modeling.
Do you know what they used?
I don't know the program, but I can look it up and get back to you.
Okay.
All right. Cool. And then also we used green power on this project, and I'm going to show you the certificate about that here in a second. Here is some of the signage that the owner decided to put around the space, and that helped with one of the innovation and design credits. Here it talks about the photovoltaic panel system, how many panels there are, 198, how much power it produces, 45,000 kilowatt hours per year, and then saying that there was a separate 2-panel solar system that was used to heat water for the building.
And was that specifically for showers and like hand wash?
Hand wash,
There's
exactly.
no industrial functions that require hot water?
No.
Okay.
It's all mostly paper cutting machines,
Okay.
processing, things like that.
Cool.
Here is the actual document we submitted to GBCI showing that 100% of the power for the next 2 years is green power. And here's the owner's signature and tells how much power it is, and of course the engineers did a calculation to figure that out. And it also says like where the power is coming from and things that go along with that. Moving on to materials and resources. This is one that is big for the construction manager to keep track of, and I highly recommend in the submittal process keeping a spreadsheet log, which GBCI and USGBC actually have templates for now. But here's like a sample of a specification that we received for some tile, and it tells the post-industrial, the post-consumer, and recycled content amount. Plug that into your spreadsheet, make sure you have the cost value from your subcontractor, and that helps you for the end of the project when you're actually having to submit this. Here is a picture of some FFC certified wood that we used on the project as well. You'll notice that here's the FFC logo, proving that it is, and then here's the producer of it as well. And so that's key in the submission for the project, is having all of the documents from where it started to the end process.
What does FFC stand for?
The Forest Stewardship Council, and they are basically a certification body saying that this forest is renewable and uses all natural things, and they keep planting more when old are taken out. And then one thing I did want to touch on is, oh, did you have another question? Sorry. It may be confusing on the reuse of 75% for building, and how that is calculated is based on the existing space. And we reused 75 of the existing space before we added on. In the previous slides when I showed the prerequisite for SS Prereq 1, there was that open space area, and basically we left that open so we didn't tear down existing walls as much as we had to, and then we just added on the other side.
Can you go back to that? Yeah.
Yeah.
That slide that you're referring to.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting into with asking you about the boundary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if you're just looking at the renovation piece, then you can easily get 75%, like what we did here.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you have to include the walls, floors, and ceilings of the addition as well?
Addition.
Since they're not two separate scorecards or two separate boundaries?
Correct, but I believe it's just the existing building that they took into calculation.
Okay.
So like, because it was a renovation and addition,
Yeah.
they took the just existing building into thought.
Mhm.
But if you were just doing a whole complete renovation, then it'd be like the whole building
Okay.
area there,
Cool.
from my understanding.
Okay.
But I can also look into the documents more
Yeah.
and let you know.
Sounds right.
But, any others? Okay. Here is a sample of online waste tracking spreadsheet, and this is really just a summary for the project. We work with the haulers in Kansas City, showing them that we want to be sustainable, and they submit to us for every project a monthly report online that gives us a breakdown percentage of how much cardboard was recycled, concrete, asphalt, whatever, you name it. And here is just the summary. So for the project, with all the recycling, we achieved 86.5%. Unfortunately, we were going for 95%, but sometimes you can't control those subcontractors that just toss stuff in trash. And we had sorted dumpsters from the beginning, and then at the end we went to commingled. And in the end is when you really get a lot more trash than needed, so you really have to watch your subs on that.
So single stream is available in Kansas City now, commingled,
It is.
for construction waste?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Exactly.
And is the cost per haul much more expensive than the cost per haul for kind of a recycling
It is
dumpster when you have to sort it?
expensive.
Yeah.
Not much more. I'd say about 25 to 50%,
Okay.
but not like 100% increase.
Right.
The biggest thing you'll see is the per ton dollars. Instead of trash, it's normally like a set dollar amount for a 40-yarder,
Mhm.
where for commingled, it's like a set amount for the 40-yard plus X amount per ton,
Mhm.
which I think is like $40 or $50 per ton.
Mhm.
Sorry. Indoor environmental quality is the next slide. This is one you see, the ones here we typically see on a lot of projects, LEED or not LEED anymore these days. But here is a picture showing our construction IQ management plan. One thing to consider when doing this is taking multiple pictures in multiple locations weekly for your project and making sure you submit that. Because USGBC and GBCI want to see that you've done the management plan for the whole duration of the project, not just a picture here in the beginning and then you let it go. We use low emitting materials, And then we also did thermal comfort design and verification. Here is a sample spreadsheet that was used on this project for tracking the low emitting materials. So we have the manufacturer, product name,